He's all right.
Oh, come on, Gail.
I mean, what can I say? I like him. It's a bit difficult thinking of him as my brother. He's Canadian.
Well, we wouldn't hold that against him, would we? I mean, the Queen might, but we wouldn't. What, is he big, fat, short, tall, bald, or what?
Sort of, ordinary-ish.
Oh.
I mean, he's well built. He's, not a skinny beggar like me mum, so I suppose he must take after his dad there and, give the impression he's fit. Well, he is fit. Used to play ice hockey.
Well, they all do that, don't they? They've got naught else to do in the winter. What, yeah, good looking?
Sort of. Yes and no.
Gail, that is a picture in words, is that? I can just see him. He bears a very strong resemblance to the Invisible Man.
So she's gone.
Guess who's here?
Oh, now you found me in all my grease and glory.
Oh, yeah, it's
It's a dump.
yeah, I was gonna say authentic.
Authentic what?
Well, just authentic. It's kind of a real English diner. Every place you go these days, a pizza parlor's a pizza parlor, a burger joint's a burger joint, but this is kind of a neighborhood diner.
Oh, isn't he wonderful?
Oh, yes.
You run this place on your own?
No, there's two of us. She just nipped out to the bank.
You know, your ma used to say that all the time when she was over that time I had the accident. I'm just gonna nip out. I remember that a lot.
Boy, heck, a Canadian by the sound of it.
I like you already. Most people over here think we're Yanks.
Oh, yes, well, I knew a lot of Canadians, you know, you give them a buff on the nose. I'm going back to the wartime, of course.
No, Percy, you amaze me.
So, what are you doing in these parts?
Visiting.
Anybody in particular?
You could say. I'm visiting my mother.
Oh, anybody I'd know?
Well, you tell me. You're looking at her. And this is, our kid. Did I get that right?
That's right, our kid.
Alma, oh, good. I thought I'd missed it, eh? I want you to meet Stephen.
Hi, Stephen Reid.
Oh, you must be Gail's brother.
Halfway right.
You know, there must be a very interesting story there. I never knew you had a brother, let alone a Canadian. I never knew.
Yeah, well, it would be a terrible thing if you knew everything, Percy. I mean, there would be no interest left in the world, would there?
Well, is she being funny about it?
Yes,
then?
she is. And so she should be, and all. I mean, 2 kids, different fathers, no husband. And she doesn't like people knowing.
Well, if she's going round showing them to everybody, they're going to, aren't they?
Well, my son, the success, means she can't stop herself.
Oh, well, who gives a damn if she doesn't, nobody.
Don't they?
Hey? You're not jealous because he's all the excitement, are you?
I am not that pathetic.
Well then.
I think you're missing the point, Alma.
The point being?
Do I want Percy and everybody coming in here and looking at me and looking at him and then looking at me mother and saying, oh, hi.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Gail, that's water off a dog's back.
Yeah, well, then I'm obviously not a duck, am I? And I don't think my children are ducks either.
Hey, you're ashamed of your mother.
I love my man. But there are times... Yes, I have. And I mean, when Sarah Lou's trying to work out where Uncle Stephen fits in, then that's one of them times.
Oh, come on, Gail.
I mean, they talk about sins of the father, sins of the mother, even more, visited on the heads of their children. And I know what I'm talking about. I grew up knowing.
Oh, but you know, times have changed.
I don't care. Still, he's a nice bloke, isn't he? Don't you think so? Well, you amaze me. What don't you like about him?
Oh, well, let's see. Now, what don't I like about him? Well, as far as I can see at the moment, the only thing that I don't like about him is that he's going back to Canada and he's not taking me with him in his luggage. I think he's gorgeous.
Tell him you said that.
I mean, you never told me he was drop down sexy.
Is he?
Is he? I mean, you don't think of Canadians as being sexy, do you?
Why not?
Well, you sort of think of Canada, you know, snowshoes, sorry.
Well, you'll have to think ice hockey.
And then you think of them plastic pudding basins they put on their heads. Oh, I mean, they did lumber themselves with some passion killers, didn't they, them Canadians? Then there's the Mounties with them pointed hats. Oh, well, at least I'll say one thing for him. He's trying to make up for it.
So, how do you get on with the French, anyway?
Quebec, you mean?
Yeah.
Best thing that ever happened to Toronto.
Is it?
Well, it used to be Montreal was where it was all at, but since this, a lot of people, business people, people in the arts, media, you name it, voted with their feet and headed for Toronto.
Oh.
Now, it used to be a dull town, so they say, but not anymore. You know, the place is on a wave. I was lucky. I was there already, and you know, I caught that wave.
I'm sure it's not luck, Steve.
No, being in the right place at the right time, eh?
No, half the battle. These days, I get to London, and what's different? Everybody knows that Montreal is not the whole of Canada. It's one of the reasons why we call the company Quebec.
Oh,
Sort of a tongue-in-cheek way of saying thank you to the separatists, apart from being a very good logo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see, right.
Hey, listen, I think I've got time to go upstairs and change this shirt before they arrive, because this collar's throttling me. Must have shrunk in the wash.
Yeah, oh, your neck's getting fatter,
Hey.
honestly. Do you know, I didn't realise that you'd been to England before.
No? Well, yeah, a couple of times. Just to London.
I mean, you never said, you never told me you were coming.
No.
No, it's just that, well, up until now, I thought this was your first time in England.
Well, those trips were just sort of stopovers. You mean, why didn't I call?
Yes, of course I do.
Didn't know you want me to.
Stephen, come on. After I was over in Canada all those months with you, after your accident.
Well, sometimes you don't know whether it's a two-way street.
Well, what makes you say that?
Hey, it was no street at all for a long time. No, I don't mean that to sound... But it's one thing for you to come to Canada where nobody knows you. But for me to come here where everybody does, that's something else. I didn't know.
Didn't you?
As a relationship, this is either a luxury or an embarrassment. Now, neither of us desperately needs it.
Well, I think that's a bit cruel.
No, that's realistic. So I didn't know. Now, you came over and that was great. But maybe that's like saying, you know, okay, I did it. I went over and I was a mother. Job done, back to the real world. And, you didn't write every week.
Lovey, I can hardly manage a note to the milkman. Yes, well, do you know, I'd like to have written. I didn't know how, really. Well, I didn't know.
Well, this trip, I decided it was time to know. And now we do.
Oh. Oh, right. There he is.
It's only us.
Hey, come on. Come in. Hi, you're here. Out upstairs, of course. Hello, sweetheart.
Hi. This is my lot. That's David. This is Sarah Louise.
Hi.
This is Nicholas.
Hi, I'm Martin. Sure you've heard a lot about me.
I recognize you guys from the Rogues Gallery. Suddenly I got relatives.
Say,